The set shot is the simplest form of shooting, but also the foundation that all great technique grows from. With both feet on the ground, the player removes the variables that make jump shots harder to repeat and focuses entirely on alignment. The body stays still, the rhythm predictable, and every movement deliberate. The ball sits in the shooting pocket, not too high, not drifting across the face, so the elbow can stack comfortably underneath. This stability teaches the hands how the ball should feel as it leaves the fingertips, with the shooting hand snapping downward and the guide hand staying quiet. The legs add only a subtle lift, and because there's no jump, the arc comes mainly from the wrist. This is why elite shooters begin warm-ups with set shots. The form recalibrates mechanics. The set shot is not glamorous, but it teaches the body what pure straightness feels like. The jump shot is the natural evolution of the set shot, adding lift, timing, and rhythm while keeping the same principles. Instead of staying rooted, the player rises into the air, creating a moment where gravity and mechanics meet at the ideal peak release point. A perfect jump shot begins with a smooth dip toward the thigh or waist before rising in one continuous motion. This dip synchronizes the legs and arms so that power flows upward without hesitation. Great shooters keep their heels light as they load, maintain a slight inward foot tilt for alignment, and allow the guide hand to remain relaxed. The wrist snaps firmly to create arc and rotation, letting the ball descend softly. What separates great shooters is consistency. Every rise, release, and landing feels identical. The catch-and-shoot 3 is the modern essential, the shot that stretches defenses and decides games. Its defining quality is speed, seamless, controlled speed. The shot begins before the ball arrives, with the shooter's feet prepared and hands ready in the shooting pocket. There is no time for wasted movement. The ball must dip quickly into rhythm and rise into the jump. Because motion is minimized, power efficiency becomes critical. Shooters keep their base light and slightly turn so the elbow can fall naturally beneath the ball. The jump is compact, and the release happens at the peak. The guide hand stays still, letting the shooting hand control rotation. What makes this shot deadly is that defenders almost never contest it in time when mechanics are smooth. Entire offenses are built to create one clean window for this shot. The pull-up jumper is the answer to defensive pressure, the shot players use when defenders refuse to give space. Unlike the catch and shoot, the pull-up begins in motion. A player dribbles forward, plants their feet, and rises into the jumper in one fluid sequence. The key is how quickly balance returns after the stop. Great pull-up shooters use a controlled deceleration step that halts momentum just long enough to transfer upward. The ball dips as the legs bend, syncing the shot with the body's braking. Then the shot rises smoothly with the same peak release timing as a regular jumper. This punishes defenders who overcommit, because the shooter needs only a sliver of space. The pull-up isn't about athleticism, it's about rhythm after chaos, turning ball handlers into scorers. The step-back jumper is space creation disguised as a shot. Where the pull-up stops forward momentum, the step-back reverses it. The player moves toward the defender, then abruptly plants a foot and pushes backward, sending their body away from the contest. This creates the separation needed to shoot. The ball dips as the player retreats to preserve a continuous shooting motion. Because the feet land almost together, the shooter must stabilize instantly even while drifting away from the rim. Balance becomes the deciding factor. Players who land softly and keep their shoulders centered can rise straight up despite the backward movement. The release mirrors a normal jumper, but the challenge is avoiding excess backward drift, which flattens the arc. When mastered, the step back becomes nearly unguardable. The fadeaway is the shot used when height or strength cannot create space. Instead of pushing directly backward, the fadeaway rises upward while drifting diagonally away from the defender, keeping the shooting shoulder protected. The inside leg anchors the motion, and the release happens during the lean to increase the angle between shooter and defender. The timing must be precise. Fade too early and power fades. Fade too late and the defender meets the shot. Great fadeaway shooters drop the ball low to generate upward momentum, plant firmly, and use controlled core rotation to lift the ball. Despite the lean, the upper body stays steady, so the shooting arm finishes with a high arc. The shot often looks off balance, but it transforms tight defense into scoring chances. The floater is the shot players rely on when size becomes a disadvantage. As a guard enters the paint, taller defenders crowd the space above the rim. The floater solves this by releasing the ball earlier and higher than expected. The motion begins with a compact gather, no dip, just a quick upward lift with soft touch. The legs provide minimal lift because the floater relies on trajectory, not force. A true floater travels high and falls sharply toward the rim. It's often released off one foot, allowing the shot to leave mid-stride when defenders anticipate a layup. The floater disrupts timing. By the time shot blockers jump, the ball is already gone. It requires strong touch and repetition, but when mastered, it becomes a guard's answer to rim protectors. The runner is the floater's faster, more forward-moving cousin. Where the floater pauses upward, the runner continues forward, helping the player maintain momentum while releasing before reaching the rim protector. The shot begins with a long final stride that stretches the defender's timing. The ball lifts with one hand and releases while still moving forward. This produces a flatter arc than the floater, but enough height to escape contests. The inside foot acts as the launch point, allowing the body to angle slightly away from the defender. The release is quick but controlled, sending the ball on a gliding path. The runner is used when stopping would allow the defense to recover, turning fast-paced drives into smooth, on-the-move finishes. The hook shot is the closest thing basketball has to a shield. It allows players to score while keeping their body between the defender and the ball. The motion starts by establishing deep position, through a back down, a spin, or a post catch. The shooter turns sideways, hiding the ball. The shooting arm swings in a long upward arc, with the wrist adding a soft flick for spin. The angle and height of the release make the hook difficult to block, even when anticipated. Big men have used this for decades, but guards use smaller versions across the lane when a straight-up finish would be contested. The hook shot rewards balance and precision, offering a dependable way to score against size. The free throw is the most controlled shot in basketball. There is no defender and no movement, just routine and repetition. The shooter sets their feet, gathers focus, and recreates the same motion each time. The routine, dribbles, breaths, or spins, anchors timing. The knees bend slightly, the elbows align, and the ball rises in a smooth lift. With no jump, the wrist snap becomes the defining element. The ball rolls off the index and middle fingers with gentle backspin, producing the arc needed for consistent makes. The free throw demands focus more than athleticism. In a loud arena, the shooter must recreate the same quiet motion practiced alone. When done correctly, it becomes the simplest point in basketball.